at this material moment. It's day 5, and we are welcoming to today's edition of the round of fixtures coming up. Today, first up is against Sweden against South Korea. It promises to be quite exciting. Although both teams are not fancy to travel final tournament, but hey, you can't write off any opposition here right now, because we saw what Switzerland did against Brazil. We also witnessed what Iceland did against Argentina, almighty Argentina. Not forgetting the defending champions, how they crumbled under the feet of Mexico. So you can't really underestimate or underrate any performance of the team here. So as usual, as we've done so far throughout the course of the start of the World Cup, my guest has been William Miracle. William, thank you once again for appearing on the show.
Good morning, and good morning to your viewers out there.
Definitely. Before we start today's match, as in we preview today's match, let's review a couple of the fixtures that took place during the course of the weekend. Now, you cast your mind back, and then we thought that Germany, knowing very well that the history back in this national team, the Diamond Shaft, we know them, they are a well-drilled, well-oiled machine, and they sporadically lose their first opening game. So it was very, very rare to see Mexico dominate them, not in the sense of dominating possession, because with regards to clear-cut chances, you saw Mexico having a lot of chances, but had it not been for their profligacy, they could have scored more than one goal on the day, but they were able to hold their fort and then get a 1-0 victory over Germany. Would you say that you were surprised by the scoreline at the end of 90 minutes?
Yes, I would say that I was a little bit surprised, because when you are looking at Germany, they were the former champions and they are coming back stronger just to make sure that they defend their title. So for me, I think that it came as a surprise for me. And then when you are looking at the tournament so far, it seems like there has been surprises.
Yes.
Yes, for the first time in the history of the competition, almost the big teams, Brazil, the Argentinas, and then the Spain, Portugal, have never won their opening match. So for me, the tournament has been a little bit surprising, and it makes the game interesting when the bigger teams are also, at least they are not winning their games, and the smaller teams seem like they are doing their homework very well. So for me, it's been a very good tournament so far.
Now, of course, the smaller teams or the smaller clubs, quote and unquote, the underdogs are not following their narrative, because usually when you see a Brazil playing against a Switzerland, the scoreline at the end of 90 minutes should be a whitewashing for Switzerland, but that was not the case yesterday, because the Brazilians, as they started very well from the Coutinho junction, Philippe Coutinho Correa, the former Liverpool player, was able to register his iconic and flamboyant goal over there at the end of the 90 minutes. But that notwithstanding, there was an equalizer from Fabian Schär, and it also denied the Brazilian, the Seleção national team, 3 maximum points. Now, what is your take on that particular game between Brazil and also Switzerland?
For me, I think that the Brazilians did well, but they have their star man, which is Neymar. He was coming back from injury, and yesterday you could see that he was not in the game that much, and then he was losing the game. And then you saw William too. He was not up to the expectation, and so far so good. The opponent that they were playing with,
Switzerland,
they were also very good, and so far their opening matches they've not lost for quite some time. So I think that they managed very well. They soaked the pressure, and then they got a draw game against Brazil. And when you get a draw, it's good for you. When the other matches to come, you make sure that you get one win and you get additional draw. At least to take out your of the group stage. So for me, I think that it's a very good performance on the side of the Switzerland.
Now, Per, what you've seen so far after 11 games being played, would you say that we are in for a surprise for the World Cup? Probably, are we going to see new winners of the World Cup? Probably, are we going to see an underdog, a dark horse coming from nowhere to win the World Cup? Because if Argentina failed to win against Iceland, if Brazil is drawing against Switzerland, if Germany is losing against Mexico, if France are struggling to get goals against a country cast in the mode of France won by 2-1 over them in their game. So if they are struggling to get 3 goals or struggling to get more goals or doing very well on the day, are we going to see surprises in this year's World Cup?
For me, it seems like the underdogs have learned their lessons, and they've managed to learn everything very well. But yes, still these are early days yet.
Certainly,
these are early days yet, and the likes of these are first matches that they play so far. So I think going forward, most of them will be improving on their games, because you have statisticians, you have the coaches that can read the games and then make sure that they bring out the best from the players. So for me, I think that these are early days yet, and then for them not winning their early games does not mean that they cannot go forward to win the tournament. So I think that yes, the underdogs are doing their jobs very well. they are maintaining the pressure, and then they are concentrating on the game. We can also have an underdog winning the tournament. It's not by surprise, because when we are looking at the champions, no one expected that Liverpool will go to the finals. And it's a tournament. Tournament is been like almost like 7 to 8 games. When you concentrate each game, you concentrate on each game. At least when you are going forward, you make sure that your tactics do well for you, and then you can go on. We all saw Portugal. No one saw that
they would have won the Euro since.
Yes, and then they went on to win the finals and they win the game. So that's it. You take each game according to what you are expecting, and then you plan it
one game at a time.
One game at a time, and then you make sure that at least you deliver the result. So I think that anything can happen, but these are early days yet, and then we should expect more of such surprises too.
Okay, we should be expecting more from the teams over there. Now, concentrating on today's game, or better, so this afternoon's fixture, first fixture for today, match day 5, is between Sweden and also South Korea. Sweden, they are appearing at the World Cup for the first time since 2006, and then they are appearing at the World Cup stage without their iconic striker cast in the mood of Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Now, are they going to struggle to get goals when they are playing against a South Korean side without the presence of such a player in their fold?
I think they are going to
struggle
a little bit, because when you are looking about Zlatan Ibrahimovic, he's made his name and he can score. And when you are looking at their team too, it seems like they have a very good defensive pair.
Yes, it's very, their defense is very solid.
Their defense is very solid, and then when they are going for, it seems like they find it very difficult to score goals. But against a South Korean side, and when you are looking at their coach, and he was being granted an interview, and he was saying that the game is going to be a tough one, because when the South Koreans, they are very fast, then they can score on the counter, and then make sure that the least mistake you do, they can punish you. So I'm saying that at least Sweden can handle the pressure. It's not going to be a tougher, a slow game, and a very, like the Swedes are not going to get it that easy. Yes, and it's going to be a very nice game to watch.
Now, it's true that these are two highly unfancied sides to go through their group. That is Group F, because we've seen other members of the group not necessarily dominating, because Mexico and then Germany, they were the usual heads-on favorites to qualify out of that group. Now, should any of these sides get the 3 maximum points, it's going to put them in a poor position for them to jump into the next phase of the tournament. Now, let's look at South Korea in focus. South Korea, they've been consistent in the World Cup ever since 2002 when they hosted it and finished in the semi-final, or better still, they finished in 4th position. Now, since that particular World Cup, they failed to transcend beyond the round of 16 stage. Now, it is true that they are highly dependent on the Tottenham Hotspur forward in the person of Heung-min Son. Now, do you think that Heung-min Son will be able to deliver the goods and also lead the charges in terms of moving into the next stage of the competition?
Yeah, I think so. When you are looking about the
South Koreans,
it seems like this is their 10th World Cup, and then they are the best Asian teams so far that have the number of World Cups being played and being represented. So for me, I think it's very good. And when you are talking about Son, he's have a very good season in Tottenham. And yes, so I think that he can lead his team, and then they also have their captain, the former Swansea midfielder, and then he's also he's also a very good player who can also change the dynamics of the game at any given time. So I think yes, they have the men to do the job, and then it's going to be a very tough game, and then it's not going to be for an easy game for Sweden that much, because when they are looking at Sweden, and then their games so far, they played against Italy in the playoff, and then both sides did not even concede a goal. So I think that they also have a very good defense. So it's going to be an attacking game against a very good defensive side of the Swedes, and so it's going to be a very nice game. But at the end of the day, I hope that they give us the kind of expectation that we all needed.
Now, let me give our viewers the benefits of the starting 11 of various clubs or various countries that will be playing today. Now, first and on the list is Sweden playing against South Korea. So let me run you through the starting level of the Swedish national team. Anders Granqvist is starting over there. He's going to be the captain. Marcus Berg, Ola Toivonen, Sebastian Larsson, formerly of Sunderland, is in here. Albin Ekdal, Mikkel Lustig, and also there is Emil Forsberg, Pontus Jansson, Robin Olsen, Victor Claesson, Ludwig Augustinsson. They are going to start for the Swedish national team. Now, if you move to Korea Republic, or better still South Korea, Ki Sun-young is in there. Park Jun-ho, Kim Shin-wook, Kim Yong-gun, Koo Ja-cho. Very fantastic names they have over there. Son Heung-min, Lee Young, and also Hyun Sun-jang, Cho Hyun-ho, Lee Jae-sung, if that is supposed to be three, then of course he's going to cry on the day. But Lee Jae-sung is starting, then Wan Hee-chan is also playing. Now, shockingly, Manchester United player cast the mood of Victor Lindelof is not starting. Are you surprised by the choice of the coach in this particular game?
I'm very surprised because he's been very good. And then even though he's not at that kind of very good start at Manchester United, it seems like it was his first season. So yes, you can be expecting that from a defender. But even though he was making some kind of smaller mistakes, even though he was making those kind of mistakes, Jose Mourinho believes that he is a very good star. And when you are talking about their qualifiers, he's been very solid at the back. So I'm just amazed that he's been
omitted from the starting level.
Yes, so I think that, but yes, maybe the coach has he knows the team very well, and he knows the kind of players he's selected to face the South Koreans. So I think that yes, maybe I'm very disappointed that he's not playing. Being a Manchester United fan myself, I was feeling that at least he'll be playing there. So it's amazing that he's not playing. It's quite surprising.
Now, this is a disclaimer. The fact that I'm wearing a Swedish jersey does not mean I'm supporting Sweden. Don't get that one twisted. Now, away from that, both teams have contrasting performance or contrasting records with regards to their opening fixtures. Now, the Swedish national team, the last time they recorded a victory in their opening game was way back in 1958, where they hosted the World Cup, in which Brazil won that particular one. Now, fast forward, they failed to win in 7 of their opening games they played at the World Cup, drawing 5 and losing 2. On the other side of the coin, you have the South Koreans who have been able to remain unbeaten their last 4, winning 3 and also drawing 1. Now, per these statistics, do you think that South Koreans stand as favorites in this game?
Yes, I think so, because when you are looking at their last matches too, their last 5 matches, it seems like Sweden have gotten only 1 win. They've drawn 2 and then lost 2 against Peru. It was a draw game. And then when you are looking at South Koreans with their last 5 matches, it seems like
you mean warm-up games prior to the start of the World Cup?
Warm-up game against Honduras, they had a win, and then they've gotten one draw and then 3 losses. So for me, both of them, their preparation so far has not been something to write about. But yes, it's a game, and then at least most of them needs to put on a very good performance because you saw what happened in the Mexico and then Germany games. Germany lost the game, and then they are not expecting to lose the other 2 games. So at least when there is a win here, you are quite sure that at least you can also go out of the group stages. So I'm thinking that this is a very nice game, and I'm just expecting that the South Koreans at this stage they can also do and then win go on to do something.
Now, if statistics are anything to go by, the South Koreans have been able to win 1 of their last 9 group games at the World Cup. Their last victory coming way back in 2010, that's a 2-0 victory against Greece. Now, if that is anything to write home about, don't you think that the Swedish will go into this game knowing perfectly well that everything is going to go in their favor per the records I just placed you now? And you also look at the head-to-head records between the Swedes and also the South Koreans. They are far ahead of them. They are undefeated against, or better, they are unbeaten against the Koreans. In 4 games, they won 2 and also drawn 2. Now, I placed a record to you earlier, which seems as if or tilts towards the favor of South Korea. Now, per these stats I just released to you, do you think that the Swedish national team have what it takes to get the 3 maximum points on match day 1 for them?
Yeah, this is when you are looking about the statistics. This is their first encounter at the World Cup.
Yes.
And then their managers too. It seems that both of them are having their World Cup. This is their first tournament so far, major tournament so far. So for me, I'm thinking that yes, the game will be a very tight one. And for the South Koreans, I felt sorry for them because they are fans. They are just having almost like 2,000 fans coming to support
them at the World Cup.
And then we have the Swiss, which because it's an European country, they are playing in Europe. Both
so they have the benefit without.
Yes, so I think that football fans do play a major role in the game. So their fans not been, but I heard the coach was saying that yes, they have the fans at home supporting them. But when you have your fans at home and they're not in the stadium to cherish you, I think that it will also play a major role in them. But yes, football sometimes it does change. So I'm just expecting that yes, the Swiss can go on to win the game, but it's going to be a very, very, very tough game. At the end of the game, the person that use the best strategy and the person that performs more comes out with the best results.
Now, let's look at specifics and let's delve into the Swedish national team proper and look at some key components of the team that makes the team tick. there is Victor Lindelof on the bench. That is quite conspicuous in the starting 11 that I released to our viewers. But there is Emil Forsberg, there is Ola Toivonen. Now these players, and then also there is a Sebastian Larsen. Now these players can cause commotion to any defense on any day. Now, if they are able to get their A game on a day, how many goals do you think that the Swedish national team will be able to score?
Yes, it will be very difficult to predict and to say the number of goals they can score, because when you are playing against a very good side, and when you are looking at the Sweden national team, it seems like they rely back on their defensive play, and when they get in, they score. And then the South Koreans on the world, they play an attacking game. So someone that plays an attacking game, it seems like it will be very difficult to score. So I'm just expecting that there will be lesser goals from the Swedes. That it will be, maybe if they are going to win, it will be by a lesser margin.
It's going to be by a lesser margin. Now, here lies another statistics that goes against the Swedish national team. Since qualifying against the Italian national team, or better still, defeating them by a goal to nil, they've failed to win a game at all. And then in the last 3 games they played, they failed to score a goal. Now, if you think they are going to win the game, where is the goal going to come from?
Yes, sometimes when you have that, then which means that you try and get much of the set pieces, and then when there is a crossover, there is a
and this is a tournament which has proven that the set pieces, if you don't take it to go against you, we saw Kolarov, we saw Ronaldo, we saw Golovin. Then from free kicks and better still corner kicks, where yesterday also Brazil considered from the corner. So clearly tells us that if you're able to manipulate your way around the set pieces, you'll be able to get a lot of goals. Now for the South Koreans as well, now 12 of their last 13 goals they've scored at the World Cup have come after halftime. Now from that point of view, do you think that if the South Koreans fail to score a goal in the first half, they still stand a chance of winning the game in the second half?
Yes, and then when you are looking at their performance so far, it seems like almost all their goals they score so far is coming outside the box. So you can see that, you can also see that at least they can also be shooting from outside the box.
Yes.
Because when you are playing against a very good defense, you don't expect to take the ball into their 18-yard box before you do, because they have a very good defense. So when the defensive play is very good, all what you need to do is at least you try your shot, and then when it goes inside, it can go. So you saw what Ronaldo did. He could not score, and then it was just a shot, and then the mistakenly he did score. So at least when you are playing those kind of games, the defensive play is very good. You can try the shots, and if it works for you, it does well. So for me, I'm thinking that at least the South Koreans can use the counter attack, but once they are going forward, they should also make sure that at least they are back.
Their defensive line is solid.
Yes, but they have a very good players with the Son Heung-min. Yes, the Tottenham players be very good, and then at the end of the day, he can damage, and then he can do the best for them.
Now, undoubtedly, the star player of the South Korean national team is Heung-min Son. Now, if you're the coach of the Swedish national team, how would you deal with the electric pace of Heung-min Son and peg him, denying him opportunities to cause havoc to the team of the Swedish national team?
Yes, I was quite shocked when Lindelof was not part in the team, because he's been an experienced player, he's been part of the team. And I'm not too sure about the defenders as they've had so far. But when you are looking at their performance, it seems that they hardly concede goals.
Yes.
So I think that they can, because of that, they can be able to manage the Tottenham forward. So I'm thinking that yes, it's going to be a very good game. And then yes, the tempo of the game will be very high, because at least they have been an underdog, Mexico, winning the former champions, Germany. So you think that the South Koreans, it will be a kind of motivation for them to also go in, and then at least they can also get a win there.
Now, if I should push you to the wall, which of the teams are you going to choose? Because both teams are highly offensive teams, and in that particular group F, then no one is really expecting fireworks from them. Which of them are you going to choose to win the game at the end of 90 minutes?
When you are looking at their performance so far, their friendlies that they've
played
so far, it seems like it's not been impressive that much. But yes, that's football, and then you are expected to decide on which one to win. And possibly, I think that there's going to be a win over there. But yes, it's going to be very difficult, because this game is
it's as if both teams are tight in, and then could there be a possibility of this year's World Cup recording its first 0-0 draw in this game?
When you are looking at the odds, and then you are looking at the betting odds too. It seems like the teams, the money they've given them is a close margin one, because the teams they have the same standards.
Yeah, almost apart.
Yeah, so I think that is it can be a draw game.
So you are going for a draw.
I am going for a draw.
And then is it going to be a scoreless draw or a scoring draw?
No matter which, it's going to be a draw.
No, you are supposed to be specific over it. That is why our viewers always want Miracle to predict, because although fine, it is true that in your previous games, aside the first game that you predicted correctly, it's as if your results have been a little bit jagged.
It's not only me. When you are looking
Yes,
at people that predicted them, because there have been surprises in the game. So
it's very true that the results at the end of 19 minutes makes fools of the connoisseurs of the game, because majority of their predictions have gone wrong.
Yes.
Because how many people will go in for Switzerland, or better still, Switzerland getting a draw against almighty Brazil? How many people will choose Mexico getting a win against Germany? So fine, I can share your sentiments and later spare you on that, but you need to choose between a scoring draw or a scoreless draw.
it will be a scoring draw.
A scoring draw between Sweden and also, okay, so on that particular score, Miracle is going for a scoring draw between Sweden and also South Korea. So if you are going to an infield better, if you are going to the betting house, or if you want to be a Panther today, you can just go in for a scoring draw. According to Miracle, that is not according to me. I always say I keep my cards close to my chest and I can't predict where I'm seated. I'm supposed to be a neutral persona in order to make sure that everything is adjudicated very well. So on that particular score, William, thank you once again, and we'll be back to do the dissection of the furious matches that will be transpiring during the course of the day. So on that particular score, my name is Godwin Niamatego, and I have an unwavering passion for sports. In the meantime and in between time, like I always say, hasta manana.
Officer, you give us office. Come here, you are saying officer. See here. Gasso, say something.
We are checking papers on this name. There is one certain guy who dropped someone food